Hello, how are you? I never make videos like this, but there's always a time for everything, so I hope you're strapped in. Uh, if you know me, you know that I like to write things out, and if you read it, then it can take some time to get through it. So I thought this time I would try a video because I've never done this. I'm gonna post this to YouTube, which is scary to me because I just normally don't like to record myself. It makes me uncomfortable. I feel like I'm talking to myself, but even so, I want to give it a go, and here I am. So mostly, I just really want to talk about me and Australia and why I'm not there. Uh, why am I not there? So it's January 21st, 7:50 p.m. here in Florida. Allegedly, it's gonna snow tonight. We'll see. Very interesting. Very interesting. We'll keep you posted on that. But not supposed to happen here. And it's summer in Australia right now, so it's really hard because I think I'd rather be sweating than freezing. That's me. Normally I used to think, oh, I'd rather put on more clothes, but I don't know. Spending the last winter in Australia in the Outback really made me have a difference to cold and wind because that's about all I experienced there. So, anyway, my name is Gabriel. If you don't know me, I guess I should say that if I haven't already. I'm from Florida, and in 2023, I decided to move to Australia on a working holiday visa, a subclass 462. And with that visa, there are certain restrictions, and you cannot work for the same employer for more than 6 months. And you can also, like, to renew the visa, you have to do certain work requirements. And that looks like working, either in agriculture, on a farm, or just working in a particular zip code doing hospitality or tourism. So there's several different ways that you can enter Australia and you can work on this visa. Um, and this particular visa is really meant for people who want to go and just enjoy life. Go see the beautiful things that Australia has to offer. This right here behind me, this is a photo that I took in Australia. This is just north of Cairns, on the way to Port Douglas. So just a beautiful view. Australia is amazing. There's so much to see, and there's so much that I haven't seen. And I know in my heart that I am gonna make it back to Australia one day to see those things. But right now, it's just not my time, and I've just come to accept that. Life has thrown curveballs, and I've have to take everything for what it is, and I have to accept where I am and be okay with it. And I'm learning to. And it's January 21st, so it's about time because I don't want to blink and it be May. I already know that's what's going to happen, but I want to be prepared. I want to be in a different position than where I am come May. And that is why I still am here in Florida. So basically, I won't bore you with the whole entire story because I can always make another video if you express interest and you want to know more, I'll make another video. But so we'll just keep it like to basics. So basically, yes, I went over to Australia, and in my mind, I wanted to have permanent roots. I wanted to eventually become a permanent resident. I wanted to take those steps into really staying in Australia and not just going there for fun and leisure, but going there and trying to make a life out of it. And well, for the first 5 months, I could not find a job. I applied to jobs that were in my normal field and never got anything back. But to be fair, I applied to both McDonald's and Starbucks. Starbucks I worked for 3 years, almost 4 years, and they said no. But McDonald's didn't even get back to me. So here I am, in a foreign country, and I can't get a job even at McDonald's. And so it's like you go through that moment of, what am I doing here? Like, I'm certainly not doing anything productive. That's how it felt. And when you're not earning money, you don't want to go out and just blow it and spend it. And I'm not like a backpacker, right? A lot of people are on go on these visas and they're cool to just ride it out in a car and do some camping and I'm not that adventurous, maybe on short terms, but for a whole year, no. Like I met some people who they really are living an entirely different way than I did, right? So if that's how you're going, that's not how I did it. And there's pros and cons to each because the people who do just drive around in their car, you can drive to anything. Australia's huge. You just, if you have enough money for the petrol and just drive to the next job, drive town to town, seeing who needs work. There's so many remote places and so many places to just get work that you wouldn't think of. Um, so there's opportunities if you're traveling around. Australia's huge. There's a lot. If you go remote, you're definitely going to meet those requirements for your visa very easily. So I can make a separate video that kind of goes over the requirements and things like that because that I think could be its whole video, like a whole video. But basically, for me, after 5 months of not being able to get a job local to Brisbane, I was living in Beenleigh with a good friend of mine, Belinda, and her husband, Mark. I was with them, and for 5 months, just nope, everything. I was door dashing. That's how I was just getting by in the meantime. It was just door dashing. And so finally, get a job recommendation that's from Belinda's friend. And I go there um, to the Outback, South Australia, place called Glendambo. It had 30 people. I'll have to include links to photos. Um, 30 people. And it was just an experience of its own. And I was there for 4 months. And that alone, I think, has been weird trying to transition into normal life again because it's hard for my friends and family and others who haven't experienced it to just understand. And being that remote and in my situation, it was without a car, and that is a whole story on its own. If you already know, I hit a kangaroo. Yes, that was my mom loves to tell that story. She'll say when she introduces me to people now that I've come back from Australia, she'll say, "This is my son. He lived in Australia and he hit a kangaroo." So I don't know if that's gonna be the rest of my life, that the son who moved to Australia, hit a kangaroo and came back, like completed his mission. He's back. Um, did I complete my mission? I don't think so. So after the 5 months, I get the job in the Outback. I go there for 4 months without a car, work 5 days a week, what felt like forever. In your meantime, you have like off time, you have nothing to do. The saving grace on that was the wonderful people that I met and worked with. So many French people. I think that the French population like is this like how do I say that? Australia's second most has to be the French when it comes to this particular visa. I loved every single one of them. I made a vow to learn French fluently, and I didn't, and I'm sad about that. And my many years of Duolingo haven't helped. And Dr. Huntley at First Coast High School, hello, thank you. I don't remember any of it. I'm trying, but anyway, I really want to speak French. That's a side note. But I met a lot of wonderful friends, and that was the only thing that really kind of helped you get through it, is because we were all in our 20s and we were all just there in the middle of the outback, just enjoying life as best as we could in our circumstances. And essentially, I had enough of that at some point, as you could imagine. I mean, just imagine, 3 hours north or south, there was absolutely nothing. Nothing. You didn't drive past a shopping center, a post office, a mailbox, nothing. There was nothing. And even where we were at, there was a servo, which is a fuel station, and then there was a pub that was also a motel, like a motel. We had a few motel rooms, and then a campground out the back. And so that's all we were. And then there was another servo that ended up being bought. And so now there's just one servo, one hotel and pub. That's it. And then you hop on the road 3 hours north, nothing, 3 hours south, nothing. Unless you go down a little like back road and then into some really small place. Like there was this little place called Kingunya, and it was an hour away.
It's 8 o'clock.
I hope it's 8 o'clock. My computer tells me. I don't know if you heard that, and if so, then I'm just talking to myself. He says it's 8 o'clock. Um, anyway, Kingunya was an hour away. I never made it there, but I know my manager, she would go there all the time. So you could get to someplace, but you just would have to understand that you're in the middle of nowhere. And so we had nothing to do but to huddle up and drink, build a campfire. It was winter for the most of it, so we were cold. It was very cold. Come July, I decided to leave Glendambo, and so I did. And from there, I ended up going back to Queensland, and I went and stayed with another friend. And anyway, I got out and I decided to see more of Australia, to see like the different opportunities that could be, and I really fell in love with it. I fell in love with just the beauty of Queensland. I mean, Josh, just look at this picture. It's just breathtaking. There's so many pictures I could share to just show how beautiful Australia is. But I left there in July, and so I made it up to North Queensland around late July. And I looked for some jobs. I was able to secure some, um, but with less than 2 months before leaving, it just didn't work. I wasn't able to secure like an appropriate position. And the thing is I took a cruise from Singapore over to California that just so happened to be 2 days, like it departed Singapore like 2 days before my 1 year in Australia had come up. And so I knew before I even moved to Australia that this cruise would have been a perfect opportunity to end that first year after not seeing family, so on and so forth. But so here I go and I take this cruise, but I book a flight to come back because I'm like, nope, I love Australia. I love Queensland. I want to be here. Like that is where I was. Like I was there after the Outback experience and just getting out of that and getting into real life and just being able to breathe and look at stuff. Like it felt better. But anyway, so I go on this cruise, go on this trip, and I, my visa. I applied for my visa, and Australia immediately was like, we want more information. And I'm like, okay. So get them that more information, and then they turn around and say, right, well, now we want a background check from Australia and from the US. And I'm like, I I just lived there for a year. Like, I have a passport. I'm not a criminal, as in no criminal record at all, and anywhere. And so it's just like, okay, after a year, you want me to prove I'm not a criminal in Australia, which you're the government, you know everything about me. Um, but you also want me to prove it from a country I haven't lived in a year. So, okay, but I do it, grin and bear. I didn't want to do it. It costs money. I had to get help from friends. Thank you, V. Like, I had to get help to get that done. Like, I think, thanks, mom, paying for, like, hello. Like, come together. People came together for me to try to get this solved. Oh my gosh, Zaina, beautiful Zaina. Met her at the airport. She's a whole story. Her, Alan. Oh my gosh. She helped me as a complete stranger. She lives in Cairns. Just complete stranger from the start, friends now. Just helped me out completely. Like people came together to try to get this visa situation situated, and it just didn't. So, long short is that my visa didn't come back before my scheduled flight did. So here I was stuck in Florida without a way to go. And I contact the airline, and they basically tell me that my ticket's non-refundable and that I would have to just take future flight credit. But instead, they gave me tax money back, which was $30 US, like about 50 Australian, for the 900 Australian, 600 something US flight. And so the point is got screwed because no future flight credit and got 30 US dollars back. So, hello, how am I supposed to fly back to Australia? Well, my mom offered to let me use her miles, but honestly, I when I first looked at it, it said, "All right, it'll be this plus like $11, and then the other one was like plus 26, and it's like easy, right? And then I go back and look, and it's like, all right, plus $126, each way. And then now I had to also buy other flights within Australia to where it's like, ah, I'm not sure. Like, this is quite expensive, for how far it is. And so basically, what ended up happening is here I was. I wanted to go back to Australia. My car's there, my stuff that's actively like, oh, it's a mess. It's a mess. My life feels a mess because my heart and my soul and some of my stuff is in this place that I wanted to be. And, but I'm not. Like, I'm right here, and there's only so much I can do about it. And I have cried about it. I have not quite laughed about it yet, but I have been in emotions. Like, I've been angry, I've been sad, I've felt so many things since leaving Australia, particularly on October 8th, 2024. Ever since that day, I have just been in one, like, the wash cycle. Like, I'm tumbled I'm tumbling right now. I'm spinning. Like, nothing is stable. Nothing has been normal in my life. And I think it's human nature to seek normalcy, to just want to be normal. And so now I have to find a new normal because I can't be in two places at once. I cannot be successful in the US and be successful in Australia. And I'm not going to say unfortunately, but I was born in the United States, and that gives me full working rights in the United States. I wasn't born in Australia. So if I want to be there, I have to do things that maybe don't align with who I was and who I am. That's not to say I can't do it and that I'm not willing to do it. It's just in life, everything you do has a sacrifice and a give. And now that I just think, and I'm where I'm at now, sitting in this chair, I'm I have a different perspective all over again. And that's life, and it does it to us. And it can feel like ricochet, like it could just feel like back forth, like a pinball. Like, how can you feel one way on Monday and a different way on Wednesday, but yet have factual things that you can support why you feel such a way here and such a way there? And that's where it's like, okay, this is why I'm in Florida. I want you to know. So the thing is Australia is a beautiful place. I'll never tell someone not to go to Australia. It's just that Australia doesn't work for you in a oh well, I don't know how to say that. Australia, I can't speak for others. Australia for me didn't initially work the way I wanted it to. And then after talking to an immigration attorney, I now know that the steps I would actually have to take are much different than what I thought when I went there. So, knowing what I know and being here now, here's where I'm at. I always growing up wanted to be an attorney. Just always. My mom is an attorney. She's had her own law practice here in Jacksonville for like 22 years. She's been doing this forever. She graduated law school when I graduated high school, and she's done a fantastic job at maintaining her business over these years. And she has clients left and right and center. It's just insane. Like, you almost just don't want to answer the phone. Like, if you're a client and listening to this, sorry, there's a lot of calls. But the point is, she's busy. And she's busy because she cares about what she does. And I've known that my whole life with her in her job because I've seen it. I've worked for other attorneys. I worked doing litigation, and I know that some attorneys are only out there for money. And my mom truly has gone into it with her heart. And the reason why I'm bringing my mom up and my dreams and goals from being an attorney is because as it would be, I come back at a time where my mom is down a paralegal and I am a paralegal. And so I have been able to help her and I've been able to fill in some gaps where she's needed it. But in addition to the paralegal work, like I've been working on websites and trying to just build up a different portfolio for myself and
It's 8:30.
expand. Thank you, computer. To expand on my skills so that I can continue to help people because I too like to help people. Um, so I came up with this little brand off of my LLC, which is now Gabriel Helps. And that's to focus on websites, being a personal assistant, things of that nature. I can provide more details. But it's, I'm still in the works. I already have some clients. It's amazing. Everything has been amazing of the way that things have just worked out. But now things are taking a shift because that was my focus and I still want to do that, but my mom needs help and I've been helping her and it just makes me realize that I know I can do this. And it's like I have to tell myself like, Gabriel, you can do this. And I'm an emotional person, so sorry I feel it right now, but my whole life I have wanted to be an attorney and I've just never taken the commitment. I've never taken on the loan. I've been afraid. And I've been afraid that I would waste time and money and that I wouldn't be happy in the end. And that has kept me from trying to pursue this dream that I've just always wanted. But going to Australia just is an example of trying to fulfill something and still not meeting it, still not feeling that fulfillment at the end of the day like you wanted. And it further made me just realize that life is not easy, no matter where you are, no matter what path you are on. Life is different, but it's not easy. I don't think anyone has an easy life, and I think the world could be a better place if we were kinder to others and that we realized that you have no idea where someone is mentally or what they've been through that day, that week, that year. You just don't know. And the thing is that this full realization and life blowing up in my face yet again and changing my dreams and changing what I want just makes me realize that I've been running my whole life from being being an attorney and just doing what I want and and getting that fulfilled feeling. And there's a chance I can put in the work, go to school and feel the same way. But from the last month and my opportunity to just talk to people and see the impact that you can help people. If I do one thing in this life, I want to make a difference and I want it to be a positive one. So I just think that I'm in Florida again, this boomerang of a place for a reason. And I think I should take the LSAT. And I think I just need to go to law school and just get this over with and just stop running away from myself. And I need to recognize my strengths and to not question myself or my abilities and instead test them. Stop questioning myself and start testing myself. And I hope I pass the test. But obviously, I would not mean to cry, but I am emotional, so I should have probably expected that. But I just wanted to share this because it feels like a hard place to be in. Just the whole situation. from the moment I left for Australia, really. Like just looking back, it's so much to process. I lived a whole life in the last year, and what's important is that I can learn from the experience and then I can put it into something else. So that's my goal and that's my story today is that I'm here